Hello, welcome to a long overdue video. Obviously this time of year I don't really get that much football. Every year it's the same. So I've decided today I'm going to bring you a Premier League prediction video of the Premier League season next year. Not something I normally do. I done one for the Euros this time last year. Went down okay. Not going to claim to be an expert. But as you know from my last video, you all now know I'm a Sunderland fan. So I just thought, got a lot of new subscribers from that video, thank you. So I just thought, being back in the Premier League, I'll do a bit of a prediction video. So I'll just get straight into it, to be honest. So what I've done is I've used a website that basically, I'll put the link in the description. I can't, if you give us a second, actually, I can't remember what the actual website is, but I will put a link in the description. And you basically put all the scores of the fixtures throughout the season, and then it generates the table based on what you think the scores are going to be. I've done this about 3, 4, 5 times, maybe 4 times I think it was. And then I've gauged where the teams look in similar places. So I'm just going to run through in no particular order. So teams that were roughly in the same places each time I've done it. I've got Everton finishing in 9th place. I am looking at the computer here as I do it because I can't remember this off the top of my head. So we've got Everton finishing in 9th place. Each time I've done this they were roughly 9th, 10th, 11th, that area. So a bit better season than we were having last year. Another team that I had roughly kicking around the same area most of the time was Spurs, finishing just outside of them European spots. Obviously a lot better season than what they've done last year. I think they'll kick on a little bit, but not. There should really be a top 6 club. I don't see them improving that much more. Maybe wrong, maybe not. Above them, I've Villa finishing just outside of the top 6. Again, had a good couple of years, haven't they? Yeah, having them out the top 6. Then in 12th place, I've got Crystal Palace. Great season last year, fantastic winning the FA Cup for the first time. I think when I've done these, a couple of times I had Palace finishing a bit higher, not so much ever lower than 12th, so I'm putting them in 12th place. I think they could finish here or there. And Fulham was another one of them teams which I had kicking about, sometimes a bit higher than what I'm putting them in this final position, sometimes teetering with relegation. But on my final decision, I've got them finishing in 15th place. So let's talk about Forest. So Forest, brilliant season last year, absolutely fantastic where they finished. But with them playing in Europe this year and them extra games and all that kind of stuff, I've got them not so much struggling, but not as good as the season as that last year, and finishing a place just below Everton in 10th place. So let's move on and go with the relegation teams, just to get some interest peaked here. So there is an idea that the 3 teams that come up go straight back down, that the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship is too big. So I've kind of gone with that. I've got Burnley finishing bottom. Sorry to the Burnley fans out there. I've got yous struggling, and that is simply based on last season of how good yous were defensively. But I just didn't think yous scored enough in them games. Although I know what I mean by that. Like, you were more of a defensive team and unbelievably defensive. But I just think that step up, and if you don't change the way you play football, then it's going to be a big struggle. Then I've got Leeds as well, finishing 19th. Probably thinking I'm being biased, not putting Sunderland bottom. Everyone's saying we're going to be the worst team in the Premier League history, and we're going to finish bottom. And most predictions are saying that, and you're probably saying I'm being a bit biased, putting them two in the relegation spot. I'm going to leave the other relegation spot for now. Let's move on to... Let's go with Chelsea, because I've got them basically same position as they finished last year, 4th. I've got some of me predictions had them finishing worse than that due to this World Club football. I think that's going to burn a lot of the players out that are over there. Same with Man City. But I've got Chelsea finishing 4th. I'll leave them other 2 spaces below them for now. 11th place, let's just fill that gap. Got Wolves. Now, Wolves was one where I did have them slightly struggling sometimes. I'm not too sure how their season's going to go. There was some of the predictions I put in where they were struggling slightly. Now, the other spot there is underneath them in 13th place is West Ham. I think they're just going to have a season where they're not going to set anything alight. They're not going to do much this and that. Right, moving on to 16th place is where I've got Man United. Honestly, people are saying every year Man U are going to change, turn it around, that they're going to be Man U, the old Man U is going to be back. I think that old Man U is gone. That's my personal thinking. I just think they're in a crisis. A lot of people think they're not. They're still regarded as one of the biggest clubs in the world. Just no European football. I do think Man U they're just not going to be that top 6 club for a long, long time. I can't see them winning anything for a long, long time. And I have got them dicing with relegation. I think they're big enough to survive. Obviously, they're a big club. They will still attract big players, but I don't know. I think they've got, this is a big season for them. I just can't see them turning it around. I've got them finishing in 16th. Let's fill that gap up in 14th place is Brentford. So you're now starting to see the teams that are missing. So as you'll know, looking at that straight away, you'll know Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City are missing. So I've got Man City, like I said, with this Club World Cup. I think that'll take a lot out of the Man City team. Got them finishing 3rd. And winner of the Premier League season 25-26. I'm giving it to Arsenal. A lot of you are going to laugh at that. I am giving it to Arsenal. However, I think it'll be between Arsenal and Liverpool. And if Liverpool get them signings over the line that they're linked with, such as Isaac and them from Newcastle, I just think Liverpool will be unstoppable next season if they get all them signings over the line. They've already made a couple. Obviously, I'm not just talking the signings from Newcastle, but if you're a football fan, you know who exactly I'm talking about. So that's naturally putting, on my prediction, putting Liverpool in 2nd place. It all comes down to big transfer windows for both Arsenal and Liverpool on that one. That then brings us to the 5th and 6th place, which I've got Brighton having a very good season and finishing in 5th. And as much as it pains to say it, Newcastle will have another good year. Now, I do think they'll have another good year. I don't think they have done enough to step on. And again, getting back, the reason I mentioned Isaac at go to Liverpool, if Newcastle don't hold on to him, then they've got a big transfer window to replace the likes of him. You're not seeing them. You're seeing them linked with players, but they're getting transfers rejected left, right, and centre. Probably because everyone thinks they've got the money, and they should be paying for it. So, yeah, I do think Newcastle will do okay again this season. And I think it'll be similar to the last time they were in the Champions League, where there'll be them extra games that will push it too far. They'll fall back a bit. Because when I've took a lot of these scores into consideration, I have considered teams playing in Europe, playing against teams that necessarily haven't played in Europe on, say, the Sunday and stuff like that. So I've got Newcastle finishing 6th. Big transfer window for them. If they can hold on to the players that have been linked to leaving, I think they might do a touch better, as much as it pains us to say. But I don't think they'll be finishing outside the top 6. That's 6th place is probably the worst they're going to finish, in my opinion. And then that leaves my own team, Sunderland and Bournemouth. And who is going into that relegation spot? Well, you're going to say I'm being biased, but I'm putting Sunderland to 17th and Bournemouth for the team to be relegated. And on this actual table that I've got in front of us, I have actually got them both finishing on 32 points, both clubs. It's just Sunderland have a very, very slight better goal difference of minus 28 and Bournemouth on minus 31. I've literally got Sunderland drawing 11 games and only winning 7. I'm in no illusions that it's going to be a hard season for us, although we are linked with a lot of good players, and if we have the transfer window that it's shaping up to be, I do think we might be able to push on from 17th. But that might be me just talking with my heart, I'll be honest. But I said it before we were linked to any of these players when we first went up. I do think there's enough about us and the way we play football to stay up. Everyone's wrote us off, and I'm still not writing us off. I'm not saying we're going to be going up the league crazily, but I am confident we'll stay up. So that is my 20 Premier League teams. I am nowhere an expert. I have just went through, like I said, predicted the season about 3 or 4 times based on scores. There were similar outcomes each time. I did have Sunderland relegated, finishing 19th once. I had them staying up, and then I did have one where I was a bit leading with my heart. I had us finishing 9th, which was never realistic. I had us beating Newcastle twice. I had us beating Man City because we normally used to have a good record against them at home. And then I thought I would be realistic. So fingers crossed we do have a good season, and just let me know in the comments any of this you agree with, anything you disagree with. Who's your team that's going to win the Premier League? Who's the 3 that's going to go down? And do you think there's going to be any surprise packages out there? I'm keeping this short, sweet, and hopefully I'll be back at some games soon, bringing back in my regular content. I am definitely going to be around the UK more than I usually am. I probably should over this pre-season have been over Ireland or went up to Scandinavia somewhere for some football. However, I just needed a bit of a break from travelling, stuff like that. But yeah, I am looking at planning my season a lot better. With Sunderland being in the Premier League, I should have a fair few more Saturdays available because we're playing a lot of games on the Sunday and the Monday. You know what it's like. So hopefully this is a good prediction. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right on a lot of that. I'll snap that league table off right now. I think Arsenal fans would as well. I think I'll have upset a few fans. But yeah, that's what I think's going to happen. No expert, and the beauty of football is, if we knew what was going to happen, we wouldn't bother watching it. I'm telling you now, end of the season, that league table I think I'm putting it here when I do the graphics. That league table will be nothing like what I've predicted. Hope you've enjoyed my opinion. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, hit the share button, comment on what you think that I've got right and what I've got wrong. And if you want to see us at some games, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all soon. See ya.